This is DJ Destructo, and you're listening to DJ Reelax on release.
The number you have reached has been disconnected. The new number is...
The Phone Booth.
All right, here we go in the phone booth. It's a great pleasure to welcome all the way from LA. It is one man, Mr. Gary Richards, aka Destructo, who has been around from the underground and up for some time now and is making his way back down under this year for the Stereosonic Festival, a massive 2-day Stereosonic Festival with his own hard music stage going on once more. Gary, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to get back to Australia. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very much looking forward to you. As I said, it's, I guess, is it the second year you're back holding your own hard stage on the Stereosonic Festival? You've sort of slot straight in and made a home of it straight away.
Yep, third year at Stereo, but yeah, second year with the stage. I think the first year I was kind of in the wrong spot. So I was like, maybe we could work together to create or curate something that would work, and I think it worked out a lot better last year, and hopefully looking forward to more of that this year.
Absolutely. Now, for those that don't know, I guess curating is a great thing and something very close to you, a great word to describe your input. I mean, that's kind of where you've come up from on the LA scene, curating your own hard National Music Festival, which has now gone on to do many other things in Brownie, but it was like, I guess, back, 2007? Take us through, I guess, the origins of how that came about. Was it just seeking something out, something different yourself?
Yeah, well, you know, I did, in the beginning, I was a DJ and did like underground warehouse parties, and then got sucked into the record business for about 15 years. And I realized in the record business that no one buys records, and especially if they're electronic and techno. So I didn't really have much of a choice, so I had to switch to something different. So I thought, why not go back to what I originally did, was DJing and produce a festival, and came up with this thing hard. And first show was Justice, Peaches, Two Live Crew, Aoki, A-Track, Whitey. And, you know, instead of being 15 years ahead, I was about 2 years ahead. And so we ended up, you know, booking Deadmau5 and Boys Noise and Calvin and all these people before they got really big. And then everything just exploded here in America, and we were right there. And finally, you know, timing caught up. And
absolutely,
we're having a good run. Yeah.
Absolutely. We are talking to Destructo, aka Gary Richards, in the phone booth on release right now. Mate, I want to go back to the record business a little bit, but keeping on, I guess, that thing of where you've come from. What's I find, I guess, great and unique about this story is, yeah, the American explosion has happened and is happening right now on that, I guess, dirty word of EDM scale. But you've certainly come from the other side, where you're looking for a bit more, I guess, yeah, alternative electronic rock acts, emerging artists, etc., that you found at the right time, and have still sustained that, I guess, which just goes to show, I mean, the focus has been such that, yeah, America is this big EDM thing at the moment, but there's a lot going on that isn't just that in America, and I guess you're a testament to that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it real. You know, I come from a more rock and roll background, touring bands, and, you know, I feel like there's two sides to this. There's the big, huge pop commercial side, and then there's the more credible alternative side. And that's what I try to align myself with. You know, I've seen music genres come and go over the years, and not to say electronic's going anywhere, but my plan is, you know, for the next 10, 15 years, I want to still be doing this, and I want to work with the artists that I believe are true to the game and trying to do, you know, what they believe is right art-wise, not just what's going to make them the most money.
Absolutely. And I guess the great story about that is Skrillex or Deadmau5, these guys you said, like, before they blew up, that are making so much money now, but that's kind of where they came from, right? Yeah,
I mean, both of them. I mean, especially Sonny. When I met Sonny at a party, and he was just like, you know, I'd love to play hard. It's one of my dreams in life. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. He just seemed like a cool guy, and booked him up, and had no idea. You know, and it's just like, I mean, I heard his music at first. I first couple of times I didn't even know what to think, because it was so different and strange, and just I had no idea. But I just knew this guy was on to something, and he turned into what he turned into. And it's just been kind of like that with everybody. You know, we've just kind of bumped past, and, you know, just something that I heard and thought was cool. Sonny was an exception, but yeah, it's really been incredible.
Absolutely. We are talking to Destructo from Hard Music in the phone booth on release right now. As I said, coming back down later this year to Australia for the Stereosonic Festival to hold his own stage once more around the country, and I guess further pushing these sounds and these artists. Gary, going back to, you mentioned the record industry, what I guess is interesting, I'd like to know, you spent some time there back a few years ago and realised, I guess, as you said, you saw it for what it was and how much longevity you saw in it, etc. Do you ever wonder now, I mean, in this day and age, I can imagine not that you'd be back in that role, but or wishing to be back in that role, but I guess given the climate and the environment that is these days, with so much music going around and so much going on, how that, I guess, that record business is going, and for those that are involved in it, I mean, what's your vision on it these days?
Well, I think it's changed a lot. You know, it's based around singles and marketing and the internet, and I think the goal of a lot of these artists is to get music out there to drive the live show. For me personally, you know, I kind of feel like Hard is kind of like a record label or a club or a clique or whatever it is, and all these guys that play for me and girls are part of that label, and instead of us selling their records, we just, through the internet, tell people about them and market them and do artist profiles and mixes, and then they come and play our shows. So it's just a different way of looking at it, but you kind of do the exact same thing. I still do A&R, I still do marketing, you know, and I still do all the things I do. I just, you know, I got people coming to the show instead of selling them the music.
Absolutely. What a great way to look at it. We are talking to Destructo in the phone booth. One other thing you also do is production. I mean, you don't do it, I guess, as furious perhaps as some of the producers out there. You seem to pick your moments, but you do it. You still put a little steady output. And most recently, of course, was your last single, Higher, with which was received greatly down here for sure, and also had a great remix package, Bradinsky and Tommy Trash on there too. I guess people you've had the fortune of working with in your own festivals, no doubt? Yeah, well, it's kind of getting to the point where a lot of these guys want to work with me, and they're like, let's go in the studio, and I'm just like, I can't go in the studio all the time, but I was like, hey, how about a remix? And so those guys were down with that, but, you know, as I was saying, I'm getting more people to help me with the festival, with the deal I did with Live Nation, so I'm able to go in the studio more, I'm able to DJ more, so I'm focusing on trying to get more music out and be in the studio more often, so it's a work in progress. You know, I'm definitely not one of those guys that's 20 hours a day in the studio, but I've got ideas for days, so I'm fortunate to have good people to collaborate with. Absolutely. I guess and that means there is some more stuff coming from Destructo? Yeah,
I got a couple new things coming. One thing in particular is an edit, remix, mashup, I don't know what you call it, but it's of Giorgio Moroder's The Chase, and we peppered in some of Subtract's Pharaohs. So wow. The plan is to play that in the phone booth, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Just tell us how that came about, the inspiration from Giorgio Moroder, a man who's back on I guess, never went away, but certainly is back in a bit more of a spotlight these days.
Well, you know, it kind of came through Red Bull, actually. You know, we have a Red Bull Music Academy stage at the festival, and they did a show with him in New York, and the stream was unbelievable, and the response was amazing. So they were like, well, what do you think if we book Giorgio Moroder for Day of the Dead? And I was like, how can we not? The guy's a living legend. And then I just followed up and figured out how to do it, and, you know, we got him in there. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is Scarface, you know, and I mean, he did a score to that. I mean, All the Donna Summer. We were talking, he was at my house today. We were shooting the Day of the Dead trailer, and he came over, and he does a cameo in it, and he was telling me about The Chase. The Chase song, that's a song that I kind of mashed up, and he was telling me about the movie Midnight Express and how it all came about, and, you know, guy's a legend. I mean, how could you not have him be a part of your festival if you have an opportunity?
Absolutely, and what a voice too. I mean, you could listen to that man for hours, couldn't you? He's just smooth in every sense of it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. He was cooking up some Italian sausages, and we were hanging by the pool, and you'll see the video. It's pretty cool. There's some interesting things that ended up in our pool. So.
Mate, it's been great to talk to you. We've been talking to Gary Richards, Destructo, in the phone booth on release for the first time in the show, but he's coming back down under again. Once more time, we welcome him back to take on the hard stage around the country, part of Stereosonic at the end of the year. So check your gig guides, give us a call to find out exactly where. Gary, mate, we wish you all the best. There is so much going on with you. I mean, we look forward to seeing what comes out next. But before we go, I guess we'd love to hear something from you. I've got a feeling that's what we're going to hear, but if you'd love to introduce it for us, it'd be great.
Yep, so this is my edit, mashup, remix of Giorgio Moroder's The Chase with Subtract Pharaohs.
Here it is, as picked by the man Destructo himself for you on release.
For more, head to djrelax.com.